Thousands of people are to be offered a new weight loss medication in an attempt to tackle Britain's obesity crisis. One of the hopes is that if this works, it'll cut NHS waiting lists and increase employment. But given that we already know how to lose weight, is this a waste of time and money? We'll look at that in a few moments' time. Wilfred Emmanuel Jones, the Black Farmer, is back with us for an extended chat on the big issues of the day. He is a man with a bucket load of opinions. Always great to get his unique angle on the day's news. We look forward to that. Plus this.
I trust Oxfam to spend my money where there's the greatest need, and there's certainly a huge need here.
I have a massive amount of respect for Oxfam and for the work that they do and the way that they do it.
Well, I thought we all did, but one of the world's most famous charities there at the centre of a hate storm after an unprecedented attack on J.K. Rowling. Quite why this outfit has even waded into this one is somewhat of a mystery. We'll look at that a little later as well. Everything you need to know, all the breaking news right here on TalkTV. Before the break, we asked you this. What percentage of adults are estimated to be obese? Now, these are the figures for England, OK? The figures for the United Kingdom as a whole will be different. What percentage of adults in England are estimated to be obese? Oh, look, there's the answer before we've even said it again. 25.9% of adults in England are obese. 29% of adults. 25.9%. That's over a quarter of us, for those who don't know their fractions, and that should be worrying enough for this story. Thousands of obese people to be offered this weight loss jab. It's an NHS pilot scheme. The appetite-suppressing drugs will be used to assess whether they can cut waiting lists, and as I mentioned, even things like increasing employment. Rishi Sunak has said giving the drug and similar weight loss medications to far more patients would be a game-changer in tackling obesity. The scheme was also will build on evidence that the drugs can reduce the benefits bill and help job vacancies by keeping people healthy enough to go to work. On the face of it, what's not to like? In a moment, we'll speak to Sue Peckham, a weight loss specialist, on this very issue. First, Tony Russo, who's an obesity nurse consultant. Afternoon to you, Tony.
Hello.
And you've been on a similar pilot yourself, is that right?
I have indeed. I worked about 2 years ago helping to roll out training to clinicians that were going to offer one of the earlier weight loss drugs in private clinics. And what the company didn't want people just with prescribing abilities to just randomly prescribe and not look at the causes of obesity or why people got big in the first place or what difficulties they faced. They wanted it to be a really comprehensive programme. And that was the precursor to these drugs, which is a drug that's widely available now called Saxenda. But the new drugs that are coming in are amazing. I mean, Saxenda you have to inject every day. It's a very effective drug. But with the new drugs, such as Ozempic and Wegovy, which are the drugs you're alluding to, these are drugs that you have an injection just once a week. Okay. And the results are spectacular. They are really very good.
So is this a drug, I mean, in sort of Fisher-Price terms, if you like, Tony, is this a drug that plays with the mind and your neurological system in the sense that it loses the desire to eat?
Well, it does in two ways, really. First of all, it delays your stomach emptying. So the food stays in your stomach longer, so you feel fuller for longer. And it also makes you produce insulin quicker. So you actually have this sense of fullness. We naturally produce a hormone ourselves called GLP-1 after we've eaten, and that tells your body to stop eating. It says you've had enough. But that only lasts minutes. So this is a synthetic version of that natural hormone, and that effect is for 13 hours with the once-a-day drug, and obviously with Ozempic and Wegovy, it lasts sort of a week. So it's really exciting. People just have no interest in eating.
And is it as simple as that? Because whenever we hear of what appear to be sort of miracle cures or treatments, we often hear further down the line that actually it only works if you do it for the rest of your life. And at some point, your brain retrains itself to not react in the same way, and you begin to discover that actually it has no effect on you at all. I mean, they would be all legitimate concerns at this stage.
Yeah, yes to both of those. I mean, it's like painkillers. You wouldn't take a single dose of paracetamol and then wonder why a week later your pain had come back. So I think we do have to understand that drugs only work for the duration. I think what's more important, and the manufacturers want this as well, is that we tackle the root causes of obesity before and whilst people are taking the drug, so that at a time when they no longer choose to take it for whatever reason, it could be economic, it could be otherwise, that you've actually tackled the other reasons. I mean, over the last 10 years, we've learned so much more about the causes of obesity. I mean, one of the biggest causes is adult ADHD. And that can cause people to have quite addictive personality types. And a lot of people that have significant obesity problems have ADHD. And if we could actually improve access to screening in the UK and diagnosis, half the people wouldn't either get into an obese state or they could easily be treated and not need any of these drugs.
Listen, Tony, thank you for that. Tony Russo, obesity nurse consultant. Let's speak with Sue Peckham, weight loss specialist. It's interesting, Sue, and good afternoon to you, by the way. We have a lot of knowledge about losing weight. It's everywhere. It's on magazines. It's on TV. You can't move for info about weight loss. And yet, are you there? Sorry, I can't see you, Sue. Have you just...
I am.
Oh, you are there, Sue. You're just in sound,
here.
are you? OK. Oh, you are in vision. All right, OK. Any time you like out there. So nice to see you, Sue. Anyway, so it's kind of, we have all this information already. Why would we need additional kind of medication, bearing in mind we're all aware that if you eat less and exercise a bit, you'll probably lose weight?
First thing is, none of us ever wanted to lose weight. Losing something's accidental. We go around, we find it again. And how many times have all of us proved that, you know, I lost weight on this diet or that diet and then put it all back on again? We want to get rid of the fat. And what we want to do is really work with people so that it improves their self-esteem, improves their feelings of self-worth, improves their self-confidence, so they no longer feel the need to rely on medication. Some people, very few, may need a medical intervention, but the majority of people, if you can get them to change their limiting beliefs around what they've been taught by the diet industry, around their own capability of being able to get rid of the fat just by changing their beliefs, their relationship with food, and their way of behaving like a naturally slim person, rather than behaving like an overweight person between diets or between medical interventions. And there are lots of studies coming out showing that after 2 years of taking this drug, all the weight goes back on again. So it is losing weight. It's not getting rid of the fat, and it's not tackling the deep-seated psychological reasons why people are obese. And unless there are few people that are actually affected by an overweight gene or something like that, the majority of us learn our bad eating habits. It's not our fault. We learn it. And once we've learned it, we've got this faulty programming and this belief that this is how it is with food. It doesn't have to be like that. We can change that, put people back in a position where they take control, they feel good enough, they've got enough self-worth that they no longer self-harm with food or drink.
Got it. Sue, thank you. Sue Peckham, weight loss specialist. Another angle on that story, 0344 499 1000. The bit I'm intrigued on this, we asked this question a few months ago, and I'm fascinated. I don't have an obesity issue, but I have people in my family who do and have really battled with it. And I just go back to what I said earlier. We live in a world with more information on this stuff than ever before. You can't move for health information. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's social media, whether it's daytime TV, whether it's magazines, websites, leaflets through your door, your local sports centre, gyms that never existed before, different dietary programmes, juicing, eating healthier. I mean, the list goes on, for God's sake. You'd be forgiven if you were an alien that came down to this land and didn't see any people but just saw all of our TV and media. You'd think, well, clearly nobody is fat in this country. It's not possible, given all the information out there. So that bit doesn't work for some reason. I don't know whether there's so much information that perhaps somewhere buried in the lizard brain is, well, doesn't matter if I get fat because I know how to lose it. Maybe there's some of that. And I think particularly with blokes as well, and I would aim this, I mean, anybody can answer this question, but if you're a bloke and struggled with the whole weight thing, I mean, what was the deal for you? Because firstly, I think there's a whole different image being played out of larger men that are still used to great effect, if you like, in the world of comedy and drama. You know, the tubby guy, you know, whether it's The Simpsons or Family Guy, you know, the overweight dad kind of character. It's always it's ever present, that, right? And I think it kind of lends itself to a certain acceptability in many respects. As a mate of mine who lost a ton of weight, I made a documentary on it as well. Ricky Grover, comedian and actor, made this very point. He said, nobody wants to be obese. There's no one that wants to be overweight. But if you ask a kid, draw a picture of a lazy person, they will nearly always draw a picture of a fat person. There's not necessarily a correlation between that, but that's how our minds work. Nobody wants to be that person. So did you manage to shed those pounds good and proper? Were you able to circumnavigate what you thought was impossible? The waistline was ever expanding, but you got there in the end. When you're a bloke and you're doing jobs like driving a truck or working on a building site, whatever it is you happen to be doing, there's the idea of, even in the 21st century, of saying to your mates, yeah, I'm on a bit of a diet, I'm on the 4-6 diet, whatever the heck that is, you know, those kind of things. It's, for some reason, there's still a bit of a taboo with blokes being a bit tubby. But did you do it? Did you manage to somehow hit the targets, drop the pounds, buy a new pair of pants and find yourself jogging rather than munching of an evening? 0344 499 1000. That is where you will find us. Back to that issue as well of government misinformation, some outrageous headlines coming out of Oliver Dowden's former department, and of course comments from you on the way as well. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk TV.